Explosive new claims about the 2016 election, a tragic blast kills 3 deputies, and the least loved dog breed in America. Plus, one all-star sits out, a protester gets body slammed at the Tour de France, and your trivia. Which unexpected mammal lives wild on Catalina Island, California? It's Saturday, July 19th, and this is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Hey there, I'm Amy Hess. Welcome to your weekend edition of the Flyover. Whether you're easing into your Saturday or already powering through the to-do list, we've got the headlines you need to know, all in one quick rundown. So let's get to it. Get ready for takeoff. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard released declassified documents Friday, claiming they show the Obama administration promoted a misleading narrative of Trump-Russia collusion, despite intelligence assessments to the contrary. The documents suggest officials, including then DNI James Clapper and FBI Director James Comey, downplayed findings that showed no significant Russian impact on the 2016 election. A key record points to a December 2016 White House meeting where President Obama allegedly directed a new intelligence report to support claims of interference. Gabbard says the evidence reveals a politically driven effort to undermine President Trump and has referred the materials to the Justice Department. 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies were killed Friday morning after a military-style device detonated unexpectedly at a training facility near Monterey Park. The deputies, all members of the bomb squad, believed the ordnance was inert when they brought it back to the training center, but something went tragically wrong. Officials say it's now the department's deadliest incident since 1857. The victims haven't been named yet, pending family notification, but were described as the best of the best, with a combined 74 years of service. The cause of the blast remains under investigation. A new list of the least popular dog breeds in the U.S. is out, and several terriers and lesser-known international pups made the cut. But the most unwelcome pooch of all? The English foxhound. The rankings come from American Kennel Club data and point to a common trend. These breeds often lack name recognition and aren't all that accessible for most American homes. That includes dogs like the German Lochen, also called the Little Lion, and the English Lakeland Terrier, a hypoallergenic pup originally bred to chase otters. Still, the foxhound's spot at number 1 might make the most sense. It's not exactly your average family dog, usually raised in packs and trained to hunt foxes. Want to meet more of these under-the-radar breeds? We've got the full rundown linked in the show notes. All right, let's take a closer look at what's making headlines in Washington. First, President Trump is calling for transparency in the Epstein case. He's ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to release what he called, quote, all pertinent grand jury testimony, arguing that if Democrats had a, quote, smoking gun, it would have already been exposed. Next, the Education Department is unlocking a major chunk of after-school funding. It will release $1.3 billion in frozen grant money, part of more than $6 billion currently under review, following a push from 10 Republican senators asking the Trump administration to act. And finally, some good news on the economic front. Consumer sentiment rose 1.8% in July to its highest level since February. The same survey found inflation expectations, both short and long term, have dropped to their lowest point in 5 months. You can check out the survey in today's show notes. The show is brought to you by Fatty 15, a science-backed supplement designed to support healthy aging at the cellular level. All right, I've been reading up, and the research, it's pretty compelling. Fatty 15 contains C15, the first essential fatty acid discovered in over 90 years. It's based on over 100 studies and co-developed by doctors working with the U.S. Navy to improve health in aging dolphins. When your cells don't have enough C15, they become fragile and age faster, a condition now known as cellular fragility syndrome. It's estimated that 1 in 3 people may be low in C15. Fatty 15 is designed to help repair that damage, protect cells from future breakdown, and support things like deeper sleep, joint function, and long-term health. And yes, it's vegan, clean, and comes in a sleek glass bottle jar. All right, Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels and support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an extra 15% off their 90-day starter kit at fatty15.com/flyover with the code FLYOVER at checkout. Or just click the link in the show notes. Now it's time for Podcast Extra, the stories not in our email edition and only right here on the podcast. First up, one of the most notorious prisons in American history could soon be back in business. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum says the Trump administration is moving forward with plans to renovate and reopen Alcatraz. After touring the island Thursday with Attorney General Pam Bondi, Burgum announced that the site would be used to house the nation's most dangerous criminals and people in the country illegally. Bondi called the move a step towards restoring, quote, safety, justice, and order. Federal officials began laying groundwork in May, but not everyone's on board. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who represents San Francisco, called it a diversion and questioned how the administration plans to pay for it. Alcatraz has been closed since 1963 and currently operates as a national park and major tourist attraction. A major chapter in late-night TV is coming to a close. CBS says The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will officially end in May 2026, and with it, The Late Show franchise itself. They cited financial pressure, not ratings, and praised the current host as irreplaceable. During Thursday's taping, he told the audience he had just learned this upcoming season would be his last. From the West Coast to Wales, Snoop Dogg is going global. The rapper has joined the ownership group of Swansea City AFC, a Welsh soccer club competing in England's second-tier Championship League. He says he's loved the sport for years and is excited to help the team reach its goals. Another celebrity joins the club, literally. That investor trend shows no sign of slowing down. Still ahead, global pressure mounts, a former president gets a court-ordered accessory, and a powerful storm turns deadly. Plus, one all-star won't be suiting up tonight, and a tragic fall stuns the extreme sports world. But first, let's check in on finance. All right, let's take a quick look at how the markets closed on Friday. The Nasdaq inched up 0.05%, while the S&P 500 stayed nearly flat with a slight dip of 0.01%. The Dow Jones dropped a bit more, closing down 0.32%. Bitcoin slid 1.58%, while gold ticked up 0.41% to finish around $3,354 an ounce. Next, let's take a look at a few stories making headlines around the world. First, the EU and UK are ramping up pressure on Russia. New sanctions announced Friday target Russia's energy sector, oil fleet, and military intelligence. EU officials called it one of their strongest packages yet as European countries began buying U.S. weapons for Ukraine. Ukraine President Zelensky called the move, quote, timely and necessary. The Kremlin dismissed the sanctions as unlawful and said Russia has adapted to them. Next, legal troubles deepen for Brazil's former president. On Friday, Brazil's Supreme Court ordered Jair Bolsonaro to wear an ankle monitor and restricted his travel, communications, and access to social media. And in India, deadly storms have taken a tragic toll. At least 33 people were killed by lightning this week in the state of Bihar as storms and monsoon rains swept across 10 districts. All right, let's check in on what's happening in the world of sports. First up, the biggest name in women's basketball is sitting this one out. Caitlin Clark announced she won't play in tonight's WNBA All-Star game as she recovers from a groin injury. Clark was this year's top vote getter, so her absence will definitely be noticed. Next, a leadership shakeup inside the NFL Players Union. The executive director of the NFLPA resigned Thursday following a series of controversies, including a federal investigation into potential financial conflicts and past accusations of sexual discrimination. Now to the NBA and a familiar face returning to familiar ground. All-star guard Damian Lillard is back with the Portland Trail Blazers after signing a 3-year deal. He spent the first 11 seasons of his career in Portland. And finally, a major college sports announcement is coming. President Trump plans an executive order to standardize name, image, and likeness rules in college athletics. Still to come, your poll results and the answer to today's trivia question. But first, our etc. section to keep you in the know. All right, let's take a look at a few more headlines making news before we wrap up. First, hikers in New York's Adirondack Mountains are being told to stay back. A bull moose showing unusual behavior has closed a popular trail in the region. Wildlife officials suspect the animal may be sick and say it's not responding to relocation efforts. If you want to see more, we've got it linked in today's show notes. Next, a tense moment at the Tour de France this week. A security guard threw an anti-Israel protester over a barrier just 25 meters from the finish line after the man ran onto the course, apparently targeting the Israeli team. The race continued without further incident. And finally, tragic news involving a world-famous daredevil. Felix Baumgartner, the legendary stuntman known for skydiving from the stratosphere, died Thursday after crashing into a crowded pool area in Italy. Authorities believe he may have suffered a heart attack midair. Now it's time for Pole Position, where we turn the mic over to you. Yesterday, we asked whether Coke should ditch corn syrup and switch to cane sugar. 61% of you said yes. 25% said you don't care. 9% wanted both options, and just 5% said no. So I don't drink Coke, and I try to limit sugar overall, so I'm actually not the best person to weigh in on this. I can't say I don't care, though, because I do know cane sugar is generally better for you than corn syrup. All right, so here's today's question. Should Alcatraz reopen as a federal prison? Your options: yes, no, keep it a tourist attraction, or don't care. You can cast your vote with the links in the show notes, and I'll have the answer for you tomorrow. All right, time's up. Here's the answer to today's trivia question. Which unexpected mammal lives wild on Catalina Island, California? It's the American bison, sometimes called buffalo. A small herd was brought to the island by a movie crew back in the 1920s, and they've been there ever since. Today, the Catalina Island Conservancy manages the herd at around 150 to help protect both the bison and the landscape. The more you know. All right, with that, we have come in for a landing. That'll do it for this Saturday's Flyover. Hope you get a chance to relax this weekend or check off some long-standing to-do list items. If you like our no-drama rundown of the most important headlines of the day, be sure to follow, like, and share. I'll be back with you tomorrow for more of What Matters, and until then, thanks for flying with us.